Unlike Philip, I'm going to do some film show, and then we can have a chat. So. So yeah, welcome to Creative Saskatchewan, Performing Arts Production Guideline. My name is Charles, and I'm a program advisor with Creative Saskatchewan. And Creative Saskatchewan supports creative entrepreneurs throughout the entire province of Saskatchewan in 3 days 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and 10, which encompasses the unceded territories of the Weal, Anishpeg, Dakota, Lakota, and Diné, and also the homeland of the Métis Nation. Our office is located at the John Hopkins Regina Soundstage building in Regina, 24. So, live performing arts production grants. What is it all about? So the grant supports projects that are ready to be staged for a paying audience to expand commercial potential. One thing you have to have at the back of your mind when you're talking about Creative Saskatchewan or like Arts is that we only fund creative works that are for commercial purposes. So there has to be a level of commerciality to what you're doing for us to give you money. Saskatchewan, on the other hand, can fund you for the arts, which is great. And then this could include live performances and digital broadcasts. So it could be radio plays, stage plays, or whatever it is. But yeah, the sector includes many different forms of live performance arts. That includes solo drummers, dance troupes, poetry, spoken words, anything you do on stage. Anything you do on stage is regarded as live performance. And also we know that music is also considered live performance, but we don't include music on this grant because we have specific programs for music. So, but a music drama is not considered a music, so it also fits into this. So our investments, funding will be in form of a grant, which means you don't have to pay us back. We don't expect you to give us any money back. If you give the money, you make money and you keep it. And applicants might apply for a maximum of $20,000 or 50% of the total eligible expenses, whichever is the lesser. So what this means is that we have a pocket of $20,000 for each applicant. We can fund you up to $20,000 or 50% of your project, whichever is lesser. So take for instance, if you have a budget of $40,000 for your production, we can give you $20,000. But if you have a budget of $20,000 for your production, we can only give you $10,000. So we fund 50% of your budget up to $20,000, whichever is lesser. And who is eligible? This is where the whole question always comes. Applicants must meet criteria in our general program guidelines as well as the program-specific guidelines. Be an individual who is a Saskatchewan resident or a corporation whose majority shares are owned by Saskatchewan residents. And for us, the definition of Saskatchewan resident is someone that pays a tax in Saskatchewan. So once you file your tax in Saskatchewan, we consider you a Saskatchewan resident. So even if you're living in Ontario or you're living anywhere but you pay your taxes here, that is it. That's all we need. Own stroke co-own the project, control copyright, and receive share of revenue from the sales. So you must have to own a copyright or co-own a copyright to the material you are showing or you're showcasing. Eligible projects and expenses. Applications must be in support of commercial productions. Like I mentioned before, we only support commercial productions, so it has to be for a paying audience. There has to be somebody giving you money for that performance before we can support it. Production expenses must be directly related to the project and incurred during the project timeline. So we can only fund project-specific project expenses. So if you have a project you're working on, if you apply for a particular project, you can use that funding for other projects. So it has to be for that specific project that you apply for. And every expenses you're going to incur has to be within the timeline of that project. So when you're submitting your application, you give us a timeline of what your project is going to look like, and we expect you to run all those expenses. And if you need an extension, we always, are open to discuss that. But you still have to fall within the project timeline. And expenses related to rehearsals, such as artist fees and rental of actual productions or performance space for rehearsals during the project timeline. So if you have a play or anything you're planning to stage, the period for rehearsal and of course before the performance, we can fund the rehearsals, the artist fees to get your actors to come for rehearsals, and you can also fund the rental space where you can do your rehearsals, and of course where you can stage your plays too. But like I said, you can use the money for one project to do rehearsals for another project. It has to be for that particular project you're applying for. Marketing expenses directly related to the project being applied for, and no more than 10% of the total project budget. So for marketing, we can give you money to market that particular project, but you can use that to market your brand or market your organization or market whatever, every other thing you're doing except for that particular project. So, and it has to be 10% of the total project. Then, of course, the production and streaming of live plays and radio plays. And ineligible projects and expenses, these are the things we cannot fund. Applications to host fringe festivals or theater festivals. So we don't, like I said, we only support commercial projects. So we don't support hosting festivals. Community theater productions, we don't do that because it's not for profit. So expenses related to script development, writing, and workshopping. We don't support that with this particular grant. We don't support script writing, development, and workshopping. So before you come to us for this particular grant, you have to be ready to go into rehearsals. So you probably have the script ready, and you're just about to get into rehearsals and produce. Assessment criteria. How do we score applications? They're very important. The plan. The plan has 15 marks attached to it. Provide a detailed work plan describing how you and your team are going to execute the project. Include descriptions of key tasks and the resources required to complete the project. Just generally talking about your project, what is it about, how are you going to do it, who are involved, and what are they doing. This is what the assessors want to see. The work plan should inform the timeline and the budgets. So what are the timelines, what is the budget, how much are you looking at for the projects. And this criterion is assessed by external reviewers. So most of our grants will have external assessors that reviews the applications and assess them and award the grants based on scores. And these assessors are mostly industrial professionals that we recruit to do those assessments. So we have marketing strategy, which is 15 marks. So under marketing, tell us about your marketing plans, what are the tools, the strategies you anticipate to promote the production. And remember, marketing is very important because we are all about profit making. So tell us how do you want to, sell this project to people for them to attend and pay for the tickets. So we need to know the tools you're going to use, the strategies, provide a description of the demographic and the location of your demonstrated market reach and target market. Who are the plays for, who are the performances for, who are your target audience, the demographic, and the market reach. And also this is assessed by external assessors. They will have the team, which is 10 marks. So past success of applicant and the strength of the team is that one takes 5 marks. And then under that you say describe the experience and the achievements of the applicants. So what are the things you've done before? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, big, huge productions. It doesn't matter if it's just a solo project that you did. We just want to know the person, right? Applying for the grant. We just want to know the team. What have you done before? What are you doing currently? And the people you're working with, who are they? What have they done? Also, remember to include industry-relevant resumes or bios for team members in the upload file. So we want to know the people you're working with. We just want to get to know them, and the assessors are going to look at the past antecedents and award you your mark. A definition of a key team member was added to Saskatchewan residents who has significant influence over the creative production. So when we're talking about a team member, this is what we're looking at, the impact they have on the project. So they have to have a significant influence over the creative production, marketing plan, and a business plan. Assessment criteria, collaboration with SK third-party professionals. So on that team, we have 2 segments. Remember, the team has 10 points. So under that, we have 2, the immediate team, and then we have, which is 5 marks, and then we have the SK collaboration with third parties professionals as 5 marks. So under this place, we're looking at who are your suppliers for the equipment you're using, who are your publicists, are you using a Saskatchewan publicist, a Saskatchewan marketing professionals, who is designing your posters, who is doing your video promotions, or whatever you're doing to promote the work. So if you are using a Saskatchewan third-party professional, then you get 5 marks for that, just by using somebody that uses Saskatchewan. Very easy. And so if the people you're working with, 10% to 14% of them are Saskatchewan, you get 1 point. If they're 15% to 19%, you get 2 points. If they're 20% to 24%, you get 3 points. 25 to 29, 4 points. And anything above 30%. So all you need is to make your team 30% of Saskatchewan residents. Third-party people you're working with. You have that 5 points.
Question.
Yeah.
By when you say resident, again, it's just taxpayers. It doesn't matter their status in Canada, as long as they pay tax.
Yeah, as far as they're remit tax in Saskatchewan, or their business is registered in Saskatchewan.
Business or individual? If they're individual, doesn't.
So if they're individual, it depends on who you are employing.
Yes.
So if I'm a resident of Quebec, but I have a business in Saskatchewan, registered in Saskatchewan, the business is paying tax in Saskatchewan, and you're employing me as a person, then I will be eligible. But if you're employing my business, which is paying tax in Saskatchewan, then the business is eligible. But if I am a resident in Saskatchewan, and I have a business in Ontario, and I'm paying my tax as an individual here, and you're employing me as an individual.
Yes, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you see, again, I get it.
Okay. I wanted to, I was writing down my question, but so I just don't forget. So for how long should you be resident and then be a taxpayer before you're qualified?
Just 1 year, like if your previous we're just going to ask you for 1 year tax
Okay.
return. So we're just going to ask you for the last year tax return. So if you've paid your last year tax return there, then yeah.
And you mentioned funds released prior to the production because of the expenses, or if an applicant is successful, is to fund the project and then retire the necessary details to be able to access the fund. We were in a workshop, I think it was yesterday, balancing the act, and someone was saying he got some money. He had put in so much of his money, and by the time the application was approved, it was even approved, but before he had access to the fund, took a longer time, and that took its toll on him as well as on the team of artists he worked with. How does yours work?
You're very fast. We're going to get to that.
Oh.
You're ahead. Okay. So another part of the assessment criteria is your ROI, return on investment. We want to know, what is your realistic return on investment? How much are you expecting to make from this protection? And that is 5 marks. For example, expected revenue. We know it's projection, so you don't necessarily have to feel like you need to give us accurate numbers. We're not looking for accurate numbers. We're not going to hold it against you if you projected $10,000 and when you're doing your final report you say, oh, I made 2,000. No, we're not going to hold it against you. And the whole idea is not for you to make profit, it's for you to make something. So we need you to keep growing. We need to support you to keep growing until you get to that point you can make profits, right? So don't be scared to even say, oh, okay, I put in $20,000 into this project. I only made $5,000, which means I lost $15,000. It's okay. It's not going to give you a bad image. It's not going to stop us from funding you the next time. We just want to make sure that you are making something out of that project and you keep growing and you keep getting better and keep building your audience.
Charles, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
If this feels like a tangent, I can wait till the end.
No, it's okay.
But it deals with this, and it also deals with marketing. So previously, we, our collective, engaged Creative Saskatchewan in a conversation about this issue. And I want to ask about it a little bit. Because I know that Creative Saskatchewan has a real focus on funds being spent in Saskatchewan, like for Saskatchewan residents or for Saskatchewan companies. And so we have a real desire to tour and to send work other places. And so when we were staging a work a couple of years ago, and we asked Creative Saskatchewan if we could apply for funds to bring others to here to see the work in its natural environment, to test the tourability of it. And we were told that was a no-go from Creative Saskatchewan because it meant spending money on people from other places to come here, as opposed to sending work out. But, and this is me just testing the idea a little bit again. As far as like marketability for something, as well as return on investment, like the project that we just toured, which Creative Saskatchewan supported, we got $13,000 to support that tour. But the project budget to tour it was like $50,000. Like it's so much money to send a project to Vancouver for 4 days. It's a ton of money. So for that $13,000, we could have flown in 7 artistic directors, curators, and put them in a hotel for a night. And they would have had dinner in a Saskatchewan restaurant,
That's right.
or gone to a gallery here, or met Taiwo, or like the return on investment for the project would have been huge, as well as the return on investment for the region, to have those individuals here seeing the work as it was naturally developed in the ideal space for it, etc. And I know this isn't a thing we can change on this day, but I'm wondering if there's a conversation that could be engaged with Creative Saskatchewan after today about what the marketability and the return on investment really means for theater. Like, I find that this criteria works really good for music. And it seems a bit based on music, if I'm talking to past Creative Sask, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean from research actually, sorry, it's based on the framework from music, model rather.
where a musician can go. I want to be clear that I'm not challenging you.
No.
The framework is really great for like a musician who can go to like a conference. Like I have a bunch of friends who are like solo musicians who can like go and play like 9 shows in 9 different cities.
Yeah.
But like the project that we were touring, it's like a moving van full of stuff that we have to drive over. Like we can go one place, we can put it up for one thing. And so I wonder if a conversation for like what the return on investment, the marketability of a thing, how much that could grow if we could redefine the best way to use Creative Saskatchewan money. Like if there could be more, we can design new systems
Yeah.
to make that work better for theater. Anyway, sorry, I know that's a bit of a tangent.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
wanted to hit it just because also like, if you're getting like 5 points for increasing your target market, like that's where it's gonna happen. It's like getting 7 people to see it as opposed to 2 people to see it
Yeah.
in Vancouver. Like I could have brought somebody in from Toronto, Montreal, you know, whatever. And like the potential of the market growing is so huge in that case.
Okay.
That's my question.
Yeah, I mean, under marketing, if we're looking at the marketing grants that we have, like the market export, development grant, and market travel grant. Market travel grant, of course, you can use that because market travel grant, you have to take a show to
Yeah.
those places. But I think, yes, it's a discussion we could, go on and have with SATP and
Yeah.
With Mark and every other person, other stakeholders involved. We do annual review every year of our guidelines of all our programs, and we talk to IAs every year, and we sit down with IAs and we go about, what are the needs for the industries, what are the pressing needs, what is it that we are offering that is not making sense to the industry, what would the industry people want us to input into our program that would make more economic and more commercial sense to the industry, right? So unfortunately, I think we've done that with SATP this year, but nevertheless, feedbacks are always welcome. It's something I will take back, and of course, you have access. You can always shoot us an email. I don't know if you have already sent an email about that, but send us an email, and of course, we would love to sit down and chat about that. Really. One thing I can tell you is, I don't know when you guys had that discussion before.
Maybe like 2020. I think a couple times, like 2019 and then again in 2021.
Yeah, I mean, a lot has changed in Creative Saskatchewan.
Okay.
A lot has changed, the team has changed, and so a lot has still changing, Creative Saskatchewan is here to serve the industry, and not the other way around. The money is meant for you guys to spend, not for us to spend. So, yes, we can always continue having that chat and see how that is going to work out. But I will tell you the only reason they might have rejected that, apart from the fact that it's us giving that money to people that are not Saskatchewan residents.
Yeah.
Because we don't pay, like, take for instance, if you're taking your show to other provinces, we can only pay for Saskatchewan residents for their transport, their APMs, and everything, right? We can't even transport non-Saskatchewan residents in your team. So I would see the reason why they will not allow you to use the money to bring people down there to just
In the current structure.
In the current structure.
Yeah, I guess that's the idea that I want to test, like for any artists who are here who are like, if you have a show, it's built, it's ready, the amount of labor, money, time, relationships needed to put all of that in a box and send it somewhere else, you could replicate the potential of that 50 times over by just having 3 people come see it, And so, I mean, I guess that's the thing I want to, I know this won't be solved today. I would adore an SATP brokered theater-wide conversation about how Creative Sask can support theater as a whole. Because I feel like your organization is so primed to support tourability, which is such a weird thing in Saskatchewan. It's the the channels don't exist, you know, in the same way. And like, you could build it. You could like be the organization that builds the channels.
Okay.
I would adore coming to that conversation.
I also want to add, Jaden, I think that what I'm hearing, and Philip also had a session, and we're not trying to hijack this, I think it's just connected. I think that it seems to me, and a lot of the feedback you're saying, Jaden, also came out of the Future Prairie Theatre project that we
Right.
did. People are really interested, and of course funding is critical.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we look at the two major funders, Creative Saskatchewan and SAP, that's, I mean, we have others, but in terms of significance, that's what we have. And I think that it seems to me, and I've been having this conversation with Mark, that I think we need to bring all of these funders together to put this right in front of them.
Right.
Because I think that with SAP, they have their own things that we need to talk about, and I think for Creative Saskatchewan, it's also the same. Because for me, on the piece of ROI, I'm really, when we think about investment, we're thinking about it spending in one way. When we bring people here,
Yeah.
even if they're not from here, you bring them here, they are spending in-house.
Absolutely.
Rather than, I'm from here, and then you give me money to go to Montreal, I spend in Montreal.
Absolutely. I'm paying all my money I spend all my money in BC to do the tour.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying. And for me, it's like, for what framing are we looking at that? So a couple of years ago, I was consulting for the Iranian government, and this was the same thing we're talking about. Is that you don't want to you want to take your people out,
Yeah.
even if they're not, you want to take them out, but you don't want to bring them in. But if you bring them in, they're going to drink water. They're going to live in a house. They're going to, whatever. They're going to buy stuff. So really you're spending, so it's the change of the framework that I'm really interested in this now.
And logically, they're going to meet
people,
the other artists.
It will
They're
spark
gonna-
other collaborations. Right?
Like, even if in the investment happens on bringing in someone to see my project, but they actually end up meeting you.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, I don't really like Jaden's project at all, but
Yeah.
like his project sounds awesome. I'm
Yeah.
gonna spend more information.
Yeah.
Like, that's a huge return on just
That's
the
right.
ecology of the place. And yeah.
So two things, sorry, I'll get to you. Tyro, to answer, well, to speak on what you just said, I believe the whole idea is for live performance, it has to be for a paid audience, right?
Sure.
I understand we're talking about marketing.
Yeah.
So you're going to bring in these industry bigwigs from across Canada to come and watch your play to see if they're going to
It's like a showcase.
take a showcase up there, take a place out there, but which is good, and that should be debated, that should happen, right? But what we're also asking is, if you're able to, explain, in plain language for everybody to understand how this is going to transcend into profitability for your project,
Yeah.
right? I think it's something we should consider, right? Because the whole idea, I know for Sask music, I know for music, we have this program you can use to bring in producer, the producer or your sound engineer to come and work for you, but they have to come and use the Saskatchewan studio to come and do the show. And then we also have that in films. You can bring in people to come and produce here and support them to come and work here. You can make that case also for live performing arts. The only thing is that from what you're saying, these people are not going to have any creative input in your project.
No, that's true.
Right?
Yeah, that's
So
not
they're not going to have any creative input in your project, which is why I feel like it's not being supported up till now. Because if you're bringing people that are going to have direct impact on your project and have that can be measured, have direct impact on your project, and which will transcend into something financially or whatever, or help you to grow your brand and everything, then it might make a case. But when you're just bringing people, you're paying people to just come and watch what you've done, right?
Charles, we can move on. I can debate that though, because if Jaden, you have a piece, all right? You invite me from Toronto to bring your piece, to come and watch your piece, and I watch your piece, and I took your piece to Toronto. You get money. You're bringing the money back here. You don't leave it in Toronto. And so I think it's not the piece around creative inputs. Again, massive research that has shown that when it comes to marketing and ROI, this border need to, the rigidity, and that's the reason why we have people fly, they leave us and go to Toronto, they leave us and go to Vancouver, because if we look at their system, it welcome us to say, hey, come and see, it's a showcase, right? So that means that I can't do a showcase here in Regina, in Saskatchewan, and expect funding from you to bring people. The essence of showcase is that people come see my show, and then they're excited about it, and they take it out, and then so that I can get money that I bring back here. So even on ROI, it's, even though they don't have creative input, they have input already, that credibility, everything, to take it out there and then bring money that we're gonna bring back here to spend here on our land. So I think that this is an interesting conversation. I'm really interested in that, because again, these are really ecosystem shift conversation that are important.
I
So,
agree
yeah,
with both
yeah.
of you. I totally agree. And like I said, we are continuously making changes.
Mhm.
And like I said, I joined Creative Saskatchewan at the right time. It's a lot of changes going on here.
It's good,
And,
okay. It's good.
we're open to a lot of feedbacks and consultations, which I was talking to you about before I just started. So we are doing a lot of consultations right now, and yes, I'm going to take this back, and
Okay.
I think you guys have a strong case, and we can always, like you said, sit around same table and talk about these things, and if it makes sense, of course, we can only agree. There are the people that makes the guidelines, and everything we say, everything we agree on still has to go through a process of getting approval by the board, and all these people that decide who gets the money.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Sorry for hijacking.
No, it's okay.
You.
It's okay. And so with the ROI completes the 45 marks, which is a total, but then we have some extra bonus points that you can actually get from. You have the bonus point one, which is budget and financing. So once you have a third-party investment on your project, take for instance, your play is being funded by maybe another third-party investment, you get money from, who will I use an example now in theater? What's the name of that theater?
Persephone Theatre, yes.
Yeah, Persephone. Say they put the money into your play, and you have that. Of course, it gives you extra 5%.
And is that in kind or cash?
Cash. We don't do in kind.
Okay, so you can. Okay.
No, it has to be cash.
Okay.
One thing I've not mentioned is that I'm going to mention now is that once you apply to Sask Art for a particular project, we cannot fund that project. So Sask Art, any provincial funding organization, is not considered a third-party investment. No. If you get the money from them for a project, we can't fund that same project. But we can fund you on other projects, it doesn't matter.
Like if you have Canada Council funding.
Canada Council funding is not provincial. So
No.
if you have Canada Council funding, it can go as third party, so we
Yeah.
can still fund you on that project. But if it's a provincial
Yeah,
funding,
because
it's-
double dipping. Yeah. It's double dipping, right?
So for the third party, if you have about 10% to 14% investment is 1 point, 15 to 19 is 2 points, 20 to 24 is 3 points, 25 to 29 4 points, and of course 30 and above is 5 points. So this one we the in-house people, in-house team, we assess this one because we don't need any expertise to assess it. Once we see your letter of commitment agreement with those people, we know, okay, I give you your money, so you have your 5 points. Then the second one is diversity, equity, and inclusion and parity, which is for 2 points. So here we only ask you to please self-identify as either an indigenous person, a visible minority, or disabled. And then we have a form that you just fill out. We are not asking you to give us any personal details of anything, just say I identify as one of these. You don't even need to tell us which one you identify as, just tell us I identify as one of these. And then you get your point. And also, it could be you or any member of your key project team. And like I said, the key project team members are anybody that has a creative input on the project and is rewarded by up to $500 on that project. And this particular one too is assessed in-house by us because we don't need any professional expertise to do that. The deadline is January 17, 2014. It normally opens in May and then closes January of the next year. So you have almost a whole year to put your things together and apply. All deadlines close at 4 p.m. Saskatchewan time. After the application, I'm coming to answer that question you asked. After the applications, you have 10 weeks from the deadline date to hear from us. And then, so we have other additional grants that we give that could support the production. So the production is for you to produce the play, whenever you're doing a stage for the first time, but we have the market and export development, micro and major, which is what you can use to market your show, market your plays, and market your projects. And for the major, you can get up to $15,000, and the micro up to $5,000. So the micro is for really minor, like it's called minor marketing projects. So and it has a quicker turnover, right, in terms of the time frame for the applications and hearing from us. And then for the major deadline, next deadline is January 17, 2014. And for the micro, we still have 2 more deadlines, November 22 and February 7th, 2014. Then we have the tour support, which is the one you say we kind of borrowed from the music people. But the thing with tour support is that for LPA or like music, you have to confirm 5. You have to confirm 5 venues, for you before you can access this grant. Either 5 different venues in the city or 5 different cities, right? And that cannot be more than 5 days in between those tours. But for live performing arts, it's just 3 we're asking for. Just confirm 3 venues, and you can qualify for this grant. And yes, we're happy to take your tour to people. And what I say about the MED also is that you can use it to hire publicists. As for the marketing export and development grant, hire publicists, do your website revamping if you feel like your website is going to help you. Your website revamping, hire marketing specialists, or do your Facebook ad, your Google ad, or whatever ad you're doing. Advertisement generally, you can use that grant for it. For research, if you are trying to, develop more on a particular play you're working on, or start of a project you're working on, you're trying to get more information about that. So this is one grant that is rarely applied to be honest. Some years we go without anybody applying for this grant. I'll have to find a way to move it fund around. But it's one thing that a lot of people can tap into to develop their plays, right? So like, when I was doing the production grant, I said that script writing and workshopping and stuff, I'm not qualified for that. But you can make a case for that on this research grant, because you can talk about the kind of workshop that particular play to fit into this and this and that and that. So it's up to you to make your case how that could go into as a research. But yeah, that grant is unutilized.
So quick question though. So for these additional live performing arts support, are they in addition to the other one that you talked about, or I could apply for these alone?
You can apply for this alone.
Okay.
You can apply for all these ones alone, and you can also apply for the live performance art production grant alongside these ones. So
Gotcha.
you can apply for 2 of these at the same time. You can apply for all of them at the same time. We don't really care. You can apply for one, choose the one that fits into your project at what stage you are in at that particular time. So how the business capacity also
So
costs.
you didn't say how much the research is up for.
The research grants. So the research grants, it's 1 second. I don't have that okay. I just get that for you. Give me a second.
And is it strictly for play development? Because there are many other aspects of play itself.
No, it's not strictly for play development, but like I said, it's we fund project based. We are not going to give you money to go and we don't give money for academic researches, right? So we don't give money for academic researches. It has to be for a business. It has to have a business improvement to your project, right? We don't give money for you to go and learn how to act, learn how to direct.
Yeah, like in play creation, for instance, where you are either gathering materials or you are doing some sort of community research to get into certain issues, okay, which requires either bringing people together to interview them, or you going and all of the details of play creation. Let's say we are looking into the root of a particular phenomenon among the people group.
Okay.
Yes.
And
And it is part of the thing that will build up to the writing of the play.
you can make that
Not
case.
necessarily a workshop.
You can make that case, right? But the question would be, it would be on you to prove, how justify how that is, related to that, but because it has to be tied to a project, right? So how is it going to improve that project you're working on? How is it going to improve not the creative part of it, but the business part of it?
Okay, that's what you
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
You talk about the creative and then you talk about the business.
So the creative, you talk to Philip. The creative, you talk to Philip.
Oh, I see.
You want to talk business, you talk to me.
I see.
So,
Because
it's
yeah, go ahead.
so if for the creative, I get money from SAP for the creative, and then that piece is ready, I can come to you for the business.
yes.
no. When you mention research,
Then I won't use the language research again.
good. It's no longer research. Research is not in the realm of the business. It's
There's a business research.
It's a business research.
yeah,
There's a
it's
business
business
research.
research, but it doesn't bring return.
No, it doesn't
at
have
the
to
point
bring-
of the research.
No, it doesn't have, the essence of having a business research is to increase your potentials for making more ROI.
Okay, so you
how
want to
do-
know, you are conducting a research, for instance, to know the kind of plays that are marketable.
Exactly. How, like the
Great,
play, like the
great.
particular
Okay,
play
okay.
you're planning to stage. What is the marketability of this stage? Where can I take it to? How can I make it so that it's going to bring more ROI out to me? I mean, there are a lot of things you can research on in the business aspect of it.
I get it.
But if you want to research on, how do I write a script, you can get to my writing,
Okay.
not to Philip.
Okay. I see.
And as a so individual can apply for your grant, and individual can apply for your grant.
Yes.
Somewhat. Yeah, individual, like an independent theater.
If you apply and get money from us,
Yes.
you can't apply to Creative Sask for money from the same project. Other than if you want to tour it, if it's done,
Yeah.
like Charles said, if it's done,
Mhm.
then you can get touring money from here. But you can't
Exactly.
get production money,
Money.
and vice versa.
So if I get the money from you to do the creative side of things, get my script ready,
Yeah.
I can come to you to get money for the production.
Yes, but you can't put script writing.
No, yeah, just I'm saying,
As a
I got the
line
money
item.
here,
Yeah.
so I'm not gonna put script writing, but for the production, I can get the money from you. And then for the research, the business side of things, for example, I wanna check out in Toronto or in Halifax, the sites that are venues, right? I can do all of the survey, market survey, audience survey, all of
Yeah.
that. Those are market,
Mhm.
those are business. Okay.
You can get production money from us too.
Oh, okay.
You
Yeah,
can
you
write
can.
money to write the play, workshop it,
Mhm.
and then that's completed, wrapped up. You can also then get money from us to produce it.
Oh.
But it's different from Creative Sask because we don't ask for percentages or return on investment or anything like that. We want you, the artist, to fulfill your artistic
Okay.
intent.
Gotcha. So if I apply for funding from you, am I gonna give you, there's a return?
No, you're not giving me money. You are keeping your own returns. We are only asking you to bring 50% of your budget. Right? SASCAD is not going to ask you for that. They're going to give you.
Got you. Okay. So
And then
okay.
also, we are going to ask you to do like a report.
Of
Right?
course.
And then, of course, let us know how, what was your budget, what did you end up making. We're not asking you to give us any money out of it, no, we give you the whole thing. And we just want to know that, there was paid audience, that there was something that was,
Okay.
that you gained from doing that project. And to answer your question about the amount for research, we gave it, is my time on?
We've got 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
They're giving hands.
I think it's $25,000.
5?
Yeah, 25.
Okay.
25.
$25,000. I mean, the good thing about us is that we have, can give you a good amount of money, so we might not give you that much, but we can give you that much, but we just need you to make 50% of it, and of course, show us that it's commercially viable.
That's right. Okay.
Yes.
So it's more like a counterpart funding.
What's that?
Counterpart funding.
Matching funding?
Yeah.
I don't think they would call it matching funding, but it sounds like because you need to bring 50%, right? So it's sort of like match funding.
Yeah, and in my experience with Creative Sask, like let's say in your original budget, your project's $20,000, so you have to bring 10, and they'll give you 10.
Yeah.
But then when you do your final report, and it actually was only $18,000, they'll only give you 9. Like they don't give you the original 10 they approved you for. They'll give you 50% of what the final is.
Yeah.
So their investment will go down if your investment goes down.
Okay, so
Spend that.
most your own investments on the cash.
Find the money.
Yeah, which can.
Well, we have, there's something we
Yeah.
call interest expenses, right? So we are not, it depends on how much you're asking from us, right? It depends on how much you're asking from us. Like for film people mostly, because they're the ones that really utilize huge budgets. We might be asking if we look at your business structure and we feel like you've not been there, you're asking for say $250,000 or like $1 million, and we're supposed to give you $500,000, and we look at your business structure, we don't feel like you can fund $500,000. We're going to ask you for bank statement or bonds or proof that you have that fund.
That's right.
But if you are like asking for like you have a budget of $10,000 and asking for $5,000 to stage a play, we're not going to ask you for your bank statement. We're just going to want you to show us commitment that you have that fund. So you could just be like a letter, an email saying, okay, I am going to fund this amount of 50% of this project. The only reason we're asking for that is not because we want to know, it's because we want to make sure that you do what you say you're going to do. Right? We don't want to give you money and then you can't stage that play because you couldn't come up with the remaining part of the budget. So we want to be sure before we fund you that you're ready to take that play out there, you're ready to produce it.
What I was asking is, do you need to have the money, like the 5,000 cash or in bank? Because
I don't care where you have it. I don't even care if it's donations. I don't even care if it's.
You just
not
have
necessarily.
commitment.
Not
It's
necessarily.
just a commitment.
So it should also not be in kind.
No, it can be in kind.
Where you have a group of actors.
No,
and
it
then-
can be in kind. You have to pay everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, you can't tell me that this actor is worth $500, but he's
Going to take two things.
no.
Since we have both of you in the room, I just want to say there's a lot of, with immigration happening in the province, there's a lot of new artists that I think don't understand your funding model. and I wonder new artists like that are trooping into into the province. And I think maybe having more outward presence, maybe like for me, for example, I've been trying to familiarize myself with this, but I'm just thinking of all our new migrants, like those from Ukraine, different artists and other that are really interested in exploring this funding opportunity. Could there be opportunity where we could have you, I mean both of, not you, I mean organizations, and just for them an info session where we can hear more about some of these things, because I know for someone like Jaden is kind of, he seems Jaden is knowledgeable about.
They've taken a lot of our money. In
Well,
fact, he should be a program advisor.
So I because I
It's
kind
not
of.
enough time with the grants, you really turned the bucket and think about it.
I know, right? So I'm just thinking of the accessibility piece now, especially for new folks who are coming in, or else just keep having the same set of people getting the money.
Yeah, definitely. We're open
It's
to that. Once there is a forum to speak, we always eager to go talk to people. So just let us know.
Okay.
Just let us know. We always, eager to talk. We want more people to come and take this money. It's government money. It's not my money. I'm not going to keep it in my house. Come and take it. Come and apply. Come and take it and do your work. That's what the money is for. So yeah.
I think Creative Saskatchewan could be a massive resource for theater in the movies.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, I've made cases, I've made cases since I joined about a lot of things, but one thing you have to know is that as much as, I know a lot of folks from book publishing, when we had an industry meeting with them, they were very angry because the funding ran out just about middle of the year. There's nothing you can do, right? So I can telling them IA, this is where IA comes in. Make these cases, talk to your representatives, go to the government, talk to them. Let them see the need for more funding to come into the creative sector, and of course, see the need for us to help you guys do these things. We are just here to serve.
It's great. Super.
This is helpful. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Very so
Charles.
much.
Thank you, Philip.
And
Really
sorry.
great.
So if you have any question, feel free. Come over to that place. I have my desk there for the day, and of course we can chat more.
Thanks, Charles.
Just to remind everyone, there's going to be an equity conversation in this room over lunch, and then there is lunch in the Indigo room. Judith also sent a message on the app to state that there's a bunch of leftover food at Persephone.